Hello, and welcome back to Crit and Crit. I am Scint,
I'm Axion.
and we are continuing our read-through of Ender's Game and our playthrough of EG. Last time we talked about power dynamics. Today we're going to be talking about kind of a side effect of that. Oh, that's a blow-up wall.
I know, I'm getting this thing first.
Okay. Something that has come up quite a lot, which the military commanders that we talked about before were quite fond of bringing up, which is the idea of isolation and resilience. Their game plan throughout this entire story is Ender will never be as effective a commander as we need him to be if he thinks that there is ever going to be anyone who will be able to step in to help him in his time of need. We therefore, for the greater good, need to keep him isolated, friendless, and completely and utterly self-reliant. Only then will he be able to reach the true depths of ruthlessness that we need in a commander to take out these aliens. Reminder again, Ender is 6. So, yeah. Resilience is I'm going to be blunt, it's a buzzword that has been thrown around a lot in recent years, especially in my line of work. Building resilience and making sure we can help kids learn the skills to help them through tough times has become a major focus in the classroom these days. It is something that I don't think anyone who's been in school recently would have not heard at least a little bit. The question is, well, how much of that is too far on the grounds of, like, what they're trying to make Ender resilient for is basically an utter hellscape of an existence where he is doomed to be forever truly alone with no real friends ever because he's just been so deliberately made unsympathetic and isolated from every peer he could possibly have to basically, again, fight in a war that is completely and utterly unnecessary. So, yeah. Resilience is a good thing because you want to be able to bounce back if you run into difficulties, because no life is ever going to be, well, flawless or free of pain. And if you are the type of person who just, like, you get a paper cut and you shut down for the rest of the week, that's not going to work so well. But at the same time, there should be limits to what you are expected to be able to bounce back from easily. Ender, they need to be able to bounce back from literally anything on the drop of a hat. Again, Ender is a 6-year-old child when they lay out this plan for him without his knowledge and only his tenuous consent. This is what I ask him, do you want to do your part to save the world? Yes, I do. They do not say, we're going to make sure you're going to be completely alone at all times, no adult is ever going to help you, no adult is ever going to save you, and you will not be allowed to have any friends because that will make you less tactically useful to us.
And they give him
no one would agree to that.
They give him the exact opposite impression when he first arrives, with Commander Graf actively stepping in to defend him on multiple occasions, only for him to very quickly find out that they are basically doing that intentionally to cripple his ability to make friends. Stop hitting me!
Yep, we've quickly established Ender as the teacher's pet, therefore none of the other kids are going to want anything to do with him. Yeah. So, and this kind of touches on something that we went over not too long ago when we were talking about Harry Potter and overcoming your fears with the help of a support system, which is what basically happens with the whole Patronus situation. Harry is able to overcome the problem with the Dementors because Lupin is willing to offer him help and coaching and make sure he is capable of doing that he has the tools and support he needs in a safe environment before he actually puts himself in physical danger. Battle School does not do that. They actively ignore very clear threats to Ender's life. When Bonzo decides I'm going to jump Ender and might possibly kill him, they ignore it.
Yep.
And let Ender have to basically, well, fend for himself to the point where he accidentally kills him in self-defense, and they're cool with it. That point is when you know you have gone too far, because this is the second time you have essentially put this child in a position where he knew he wouldn't have any help. So just to make people stop hurting him, he reacted with excessive force. Because he doesn't know how to moderate that properly because of insufficient training. And yeah, isolation is a punishment. There's a reason we have solitary confinement. You are in such a position that we do not feel right putting you with other people. We are going to separate you from basic human contact and connection because of the severity of your crimes. They have essentially done this to a 6-year-old who hadn't at that point done anything wrong, because they thought it would make him more resilient and a better commander. After a certain point, you're not building resilience, you're just justifying cruelty.
I mean, working as intended. They want Ender to be able to make the decisions he does. And they need him to be cruel to do that. Ah.
Yeah, and I think we kind of have a somewhat similar situation with regard to Ender's siblings. I think of the two, Valentine is probably the more isolated in the sense that she's the one who clearly knows that something is very wrong with Peter, but Peter is charismatic enough that he can hide that from authority figures as needed. So Valentine has lost the sibling that she truly cares for because of the battle school situation, is stuck alone with the sibling who has repeatedly hurt her, we kind of get the impression from some of the things she said, and threatened to kill her and Ender, with no one she can really go to about that situation. She doesn't really turn out so well. Like, she gets easily goaded into Peter's Lock Demosthenes scheme, is basically blackmailed as a result of that into further manipulating Ender, and feels like there's nothing for her on Earth, and just goes off to the new colony because why not? What do I have left? And at least I can try to be with the brother I care about. So, yeah. This whole situation has isolated 2 of the 3 Wigan kids to painful levels. Peter is also isolated, but he's harder to care about that being a thing just because of how awful he has been to those around him. So,
let's not
yeah.
go there.
These kids, born into this world of the book, do not have an easy life at all. And that's by design because it's useful to people around them.
People with... There is a sort of meme that's going around right now, mostly in relation to some of the political stuff that's happening in the past 6 years or so. That is... This is really annoying. I don't want to fight you. I really do not want to fight the Kamado. I just want to fight the Tazo.
Who I think might be mostly dead at this point.
I've run into a few on this floor, but...
That's why I said only mostly dead. Mostly dead means partly alive.
Yeah, we're not yet going through their pockets looking for loose change yet. There we go. That's the way out. But anyway, the meme that's going around right now says, hard times make strong men make good times make weak men make hard times. I
have not seen that one.
Yeah. It is a very stupid meme. It really completely misunderstands the way that social dynamics work. it's, of course, relying completely on an incredibly outdated idea of masculinity. Thank you for blowing those things up for me. Ooh, it's a lightning gun. I'm gonna have to
You need to get a resonance reflector.
Is that the purple thing that I have?
You don't have it yet. You have to combine 5 and 1.
5 and 1. Alright, I'll do that next time I run into a thing. But anyway, it's a very stupid meme based on very outdated ideas of masculinity and a complete disregard for social dynamics in the modern world. I did not want to fight you!
A lot of strong, independent people who conveniently ignore all the public services that they're completely reliant on and would not function without.
Yep.
But, yeah. I'm not sure where else to go here.
Yeah, the point I was trying to make was...
Yeah, that'll help you reflect some stuff.
Okay, cool. But the point I was trying to make with that is that this is a mindset that has been around for a long time, and it's very similar to what is being expressed in the world of Ender's Game. That this sort of mindset that people need to be... Hey, there we go, I got the Tassin weapon that I was wanting to use earlier. That people need to be strong to survive in whatever situation that they're dealing with, and that precludes any notion of generosity, sympathy, compassion, or care, especially in the perspective of towards the out group. Because a lot of this, it really comes back to in-groups and out-groups.
And it's also odd just because modern sensibility and just common sense should say at this point, there are many different ways to be strong. And one of those is, you know, knowing that it is okay to seek help. And that is the lesson that basically every other book will teach you. Harry Potter cannot get through things alone. He is entirely reliant on his friends. Ender's Game is honestly like the only book I've ever seen where the goal is to make sure that the hero knows that he does not have anyone he can rely on, ever. Even though they constantly throw people at him that he tries to get some sort of rapport with. It's a really disturbing message to send a small kid. Because, you know, this is aimed at, like, middle school age. So, here, tell this 12-year-old, here, read this book, and the lesson you should take away is, the world is doomed if you decide you need friends.
Yep.
Oh, try spread launchers. 3-1. So, it's your second, third. Stand back and you should be able to hit that with the top rocket, I think. Try further back.
I can't go further back or I go down a hill.
Well, one of them should go up, though, right?
Not up enough.
Okay, well, damn. I tried.
Yeah, the problem is you can't jump and shoot or jump and kick, so...
Yeah, I know there's a weapon that you can get up there with. Like, I'm just wondering if there's something other than the nuke.
How do you
Which
make
I don't
the
know
nuke?
if it's 4 and 8. I don't know if you have enough crack to get it.
Only one win in it? Phrasing. Nope. Need to
Well,
get to level 10.
it says you need higher crack, okay? That's what I meant.
Well, I know what I'm leveling next. Okay, I'm looking for a teleporter. But yeah.
I think it was 4-7, so it should be the one that was in the empty slot from here.
Up there it
And
is.
the car. Yep. Anyway.
But yeah, it's a certain mindset that requires this kind of expression of It's another thing that we have a lot of a problem with the current political situation is the idea of the independent strongman who is capable of doing everything on their own, completely self-reliant, needs the help of and support of no one. And this is an ideal that is... Hey, it's Dan. Sweet.
Yeah, you found your brother!
It's this ideal that is embraced by a large part of our society, and it's just part of our culture that we look up to people like this, and this is the kind of person that's idealized in a lot of our fiction. Especially older fiction. The big one that comes up to my mind, is like old westerns, where everything gets solved by the lone stranger who shows up in town out of nowhere, fixes all the problems, gets the girl for a night, and then rides off into the sunset.
Except, this also can be seen as a deconstruction, because after Ender is built into that ideal, he has a complete breakdown and is basically comatose for several days and spends the rest of his life trying to find purpose. And what he finds that purpose in is helping others, helping people who can't speak for themselves, helping the very people he inadvertently helped to destroy. So, if you take the message away from the book of, which is sent through at you for like 75% of the book of, you must be alone, you must be strong, the ending completely pulls the rug out from under that, but I would not be surprised if many people missed that point because it doesn't happen until after all the explosions stop. Ender breaks under the ideal of the isolated strongman. All the resilience they tried to teach him was not enough to patch it up. In the end, isolation may create some resilience, but it's not going to save you from everything. What saves him is his sister's love. Valentine is there for him, is willing to be there for him, and that's really all he has left.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think that's a good place to leave it.
Yep. We'll see you next time.
Bye.